Okay, folks, welcome to the April 12th, 2021 meeting of the Painesville Township Zoning Commission. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of
to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
That's me. Okay. Amy,
Here.
Daryl, John,
Here.
Bailey,
Here.
and Ted.
Here. Okay. Did we get any questions or inquiries from the general public, Richard or Harley or Rachel?
I have not received any.
I have not received any, Mr. Chairman.
And I have not either.
Okay, so then we'll stop with that. I will call the regular meeting to order. And Rachel has been kind enough to give us the minutes of the March 8th meeting when she mailed her packet. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval.
Also move.
Okay, John,
I'll second.
Daryl,
Take
Amy.
your pick.
You got it.
Okay, Daryl seconded it. Any question on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Okay, John,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Daryl,
Here? Yes.
Chairman.
Yes. Okay. We will start now with the, we have continued, our next one is public hearings. We have a public hearing, we'll continue. It's case 21 ZC01, continued from March 8th. The text amendment. This is one that we sent to the trustees, and they sent it back to us. And also, we had some ambiguous, and we had some other issues with the planning commission, with their recommendation. So I'll turn this over to Harley and give us what we have found out from the planning commission and from the trustees meeting.
Mr. Chairman, a few of the recommendations that the Planning Commission made were to change the measurement of, well, first, to change the definition of line of sight visibility for the triangle to include an A and a B. Line of sight safety triangle driveways is the smaller measurement that we initially proposed to them.
Mm-hmm.
This measurement is only measured at driveways. And the next definition, line of sight safety triangle roads, is to be measured at a roadway intersection and be 100 feet, measured 100 feet as opposed to 20 feet.
Okay.
Now, the zoning commission, when we heard this last, had requested of the township zoning staff to prepare illustrations to show you all what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I have included two measurements. Now, for the most part, what I am observing is that this line of sight safety triangle measurement of 100 feet won't necessarily
I'm in a meeting.
detrimentally affect most property owners in
Right.
Painesville Township.
Mm-hmm.
Because the roadway intersection is, for the most part, located in the front yard, where we require nothing exceed 3 feet in height anyway.
Correct.
With or without the safety triangle, we don't permit fences in the front yard to exceed 3 feet in height. Now, I did find one situation on the corner of Shady Lane
I'm
and
in a
Oakwood
meeting.
Boulevard,
Bye.
which is in one of my illustrations, where this 100-foot measurement would affect the backyard, because this lot specifically has frontage on 3 different roadways. Well, this dwelling. Now, this is a very rare occurrence, so it's really up to the zoning commission as to whether or not they want to heed the suggestions of the Lake County Planning Commission and include the 100-foot measurement. And just require that in these very rare circumstances, a variance be applied for. I think either way, it would be an improvement upon how many variances we're receiving, so that's my opinion. I'm not sure if Rich's opinion differs.
Um, okay, since you said that, Harley, let me just say I have taken a pretty close look at the two alternatives. Um, I, I back your proposal uh, because it eliminates the probability of a couple variances somewhere down the road. And it would be unfair to certain property owners because of their locations to really have to request a variance if they want to do something. So I am all in favor of Harley's proposal.
Okay. Thank you, Rich.
Okay.
Um, and so moving on from the definitions that were suggested for for the line of sight safety triangles. We have, what item is this? What are you? Figure 6-1 as suggested by the
I'm in a
planning
meeting.
commission. The image is as the planning commission suggested. There was no change to 6.14C7, if I recollect correctly. Yeah. Figure 6.2 is the same. Okay, and then we have 6.13H, ingress egress gates. This is as the planning commission recommended, with the 11-foot clear opening width for ingress and egress. I did run this by our fire chief, and he said with 11 feet in combination with the required setback, he said they should be able to squeeze through and not cause any damage. It's when they're coming up to a curve and trying to go through, they have less clearance. But he said he's comfortable with the 11 feet, with the 36-foot setback from the roadway, was
Okay.
his response to their suggestion. Figure 6.3 change to reflect the 11-foot clear openings. And that is the end of the suggested edits to sections 6 and 5.
Okay.
Or wait, 5. Why is 5 not in my copy?
Five and six.
Oh, it is.
Okay. So,
Okay, here it is. Sorry, I apologize. And then on the last stapled package that you received, we have the definitions as suggested by the planning commission.
Okay. Okay. Any question? And Richard, you've already made your comment. You have any more comments, Richard?
Well, I do. There's one misspelled word, I believe, on the second last line of section 5.96 of Harley's version, which says form instead of from, I believe.
Oh, that says foam. If you're sorry, thank you, Rich.
Okay. And in 5.97, when I read through that, I see a reference to private roadways, but I'm not quite sure what the other two categories are, whether they're private or private and public. Um, this would be an area for Jason to take a look and provide some legal guidance and make sure that what is intended is what is written. Do you, Harley? It's most important for you to understand what I'm saying here.
No, I do. It's the,
Okay.
what the intention is to ensure that this is applicable to all public and private roadways of all forms, and we just want to ensure that that is what we're saying here, and we're not excluding anything by not writing it more
Oh,
clearly. Is that,
okay. So just make sure that Jason has a chance to give his opinion on whether the current structure of 5.97 accomplishes that. I was a little bit confused when I read it, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we just go with something, like that, a triangular shaped area of land abutting any private or public roadway or private or public road. I think that would encompass everything if we just refer to it that way.
and then the language thereafter, that's talking about the minor lane, street, or private road to collector, or major lane, street, or private road. Should we change that?
Um, I mean, do we need to differentiate between minor and major?
I think really the intent here from the planning commission, because I recognize this language that is included, to be that was their suggested edit. I think what they're attempting to do is ensuring that all of these different types of roadways, alleyways, any other sort of pathway would be applicable in this case.
Jason?
A pathway, would that be open to vehicular traffic? Are we only concerned about vehicular traffic or pedestrian traffic also?
Should be both.
Because, we could say any public or private roadway capable of bearing vehicular traffic or whatever kind of traffic we want to include in that. Instead of saying major or minor, it could be any public or private roadway capable of bearing certain kinds of traffic. I think.
Well, the other, I guess our suggestion would be that, is any public or private roadway. I mean, that's, if we try to differentiate between a minor and a major street, someone can argue, hey, I live on a minor street or I don't have to deal with this. Like Jason, I think if we go with a public roadway or private road, public roadway, it signifies that we, the township, has maintenance responsibilities on that roadway, and that's a public roadway. So, I think that's what we're looking at is for the site triangle to be on a public right-of-way or public roadway or private roadway, period.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if we use, excuse me, I think if we use roadway, that would encompass, at least in my mind, whether it's a lane, an avenue, a street, a road. whatever it is, that's a roadway.
I would think so too, because that way, there's roadways, there's some very narrow lanes in Painesville Township, there's some, in some spots, and that way, and that's also a public roadway. If we just call it public roadway and private roadway, that should suffice all the way down, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And if some attorney wants to try to get creative and argue that whatever it is isn't a roadway, I'd say good luck with your argument. Not to say it wouldn't happen, but I think if we say roadway, that encompasses everything we want it to encompass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard, any more questions or concerns?
No, sir.
Okay, then I will turn it over to the commission members. Any commission member have any questions for either Jason, Harley, or Richard on this?
I have no questions on it myself.
Okay,
I mean, I'm not sure I understand the whole thing, but the concept basically is to keep the visibility and
I think what we're trying to do is try to eliminate some obstructions at these corners and the drives and try to get some sort of a, triangle, site triangle. I know the reason why it's come back to us, because we were looking for 30, and the trustee says, no, we want 20. And I think this more defines what we're looking for, and it kind of gives a more definitive, the trustees know, what we're, in each of the different types of roadways, what we're trying to do, and what we're trying to keep obstructed free. So I would think that's fine. What Harley has done and with how she and Richard changed this around to accommodate the concerns of the planning commission, I think is helpful. So I think it's a pretty good. I think all the questions are answered. I think the fire chief is okay with what the revisions are for the gate entry. Anybody else have any other questions or concerns they may have on this issue?
Sounds like we need to update some verbiage on the definitions on section 5. On section 6, the question becomes, did we want to move forward with Harley's draft or with the planning commission at its only draft? Is that a question? I mean, I'm not sure. I think
I think if everybody's comfortable, Harley, and you kind of incorporated some of the, and what you're posing to us tonight is basically taking what we talked about last couple of meetings and planning commission's recommendations?
So, I think that what Rich and I are comfortable with is the 20-foot on both measurements.
Okay,
However, if the zoning commission feels differently, laying out the scenarios, and how it would affect property owners was just a part of that to say, it won't detrimentally affect most of the property owners, but the ones that it will affect would have to go get a variance, would likely get their approval, but at the end of the day, whatever the zoning commission is most comfortable with is.
I know that we were comfortable with the 30-foot before it came back to us, because trustees were, and I think this more defines what the 20-foot limit is, what we were really looking for. The 100-foot, the only thing is, I don't know how the trustees will react to a 100-foot site triangle versus how they reacted to the 30-foot site triangle. They sent it back to us.
so. I guess for the record, I agree with Harley and Richard's version. I just think we should make sure that we all agree on that, and then that way we make the edits and we come back, we're only looking at one draft instead of two.
I don't have a problem with what Richard and, personally, I don't have a problem with what Richard and Harley has presented tonight. I think it's a good I would say, a good, I won't say compromise, but it's a good combination of what the planning commission wanted, what the trustees wanted, reason why they kicked it back to us. I know if we have a motion tonight, it would have to be a motion, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, or Richard, would be a motion to, as amended at tonight's public hearing. I would say that's what it would be. Approval.
Yeah, and I don't know that, I guess, regardless what we do with the moving forward, I just think, it seems to me like we're going to have to make some adjustments and come back and review again and then make the motion to approve. I think we just need, maybe not, but as long as we're all in agreement to stick with their version of it, I think it probably makes next.
I don't have,
I mean, unless Daryl, John, Amy, somebody disagrees with Rich and Harley's version, I think it's easy enough to just say, move forward with this one, and then we'll make the motion at the next.
I think if anybody has an objection to what, or maybe another, or a better way of defining this, okay, Jason, we'd have to make a motion to, and would it be a motion to approve to recommendation to the trustees as submitted today, submitted at the public hearing today? That would be what the motion would be like?
Well, for section 5, it'd have to be as amended, because I think we all agree on making those
Mm-hmm.
changes to the definitions. And on the other one, for section 6, so I mean, you can do it in one motion because it's one case.
Yes.
But I would just specify that as it relates to section 5, as amended, at tonight's meeting. And then section 6, I would just specify which of these drafts we're proposing to send to the trustees, whether it's the ones with the Lake County Planning Commission edits only, or, essentially I'd probably just look at it as whether it's the 20-foot one or the 100-foot one, just so it's clear what we're sending to the trustees.
Yeah, we're going with the either 100-foot one or we're going with the 20-foot one, correct?
Right.
Okay. So, if, I guess what I'm looking for is if everyone's in agreement with what was presented tonight, which was, I would call the zoning, and personnel's recommendation of the 20-foot. We would go with, that as for section 6 and section 5 as amended tonight. So, if there's no objections, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt, but before you entertain the motion, I just wanted to clarify what the amendment was. I have it written here, and I just want to make sure that what I
No
have
problem.
written is what you guys are looking for.
Okay.
A triangle, so line of sight safety triangle road, a triangular shaped area of land abutting any private or public road that is required to be kept free of obstructions that could impede the vision of a pedestrian or the driver of a motor vehicle exiting onto or driving on a public or private road.
Jason, I think that was the intent of the revision to section 5. That would be.
Yeah, I would just point out 9.6 probably needs a little amendment too. I mean, same idea.
Oh, for from?
Well, that's just a typo. I don't know if, but, that one also refers to lane, street, or private road. So I would say just amend that to, triangular shaped area of land abutting a driveway and private or public road that is required to be kept free, blah, blah, blah. And then, same thing with the tail end of it.
Okay. Everybody comfortable with that? Make that revision to 596 and 597.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add, in this situation with the driveway, should we specify a public or private road or a sidewalk? Because I know one of the trustees was interested in seeing that measurement being from a sidewalk, as he's a runner and he has empathy. people running on sidewalks. So if you want to include that, the question is the verbiage a public or private road or or sidewalk the appropriate way to word that?
Okay? Does everybody understand that? And where would we put that at? In both 96 and 97? 5.96 and 5.97?
No, just 9.6, Mr. Chairman, not
9.6?
9.7.
Okay.
Um,
Go ahead, Jason.
I have my hand up.
Oh,
Go ahead, Rich.
Does the chair agree to recognize me?
Not really, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted.
Anytime.
Listen, living on a property, I have one parcel. The majority of my road frontage runs with the right of way. A small section of my frontage extends to the center of the road. I am not the only property owner in Painesville Township that has a configuration like this. So this should be taken into consideration when dealing with an issue like this.
Let me ask a question then, to you, if as you can see how we're amending this and to see how we're going with the 20-foot site triangle, is there any other additions you want to make that would take care of a situation like yours or similar to yours?
Well, if we base everything on from the road right of way or a sidewalk, I mean, we have sidewalks on my street.
Mm-hmm.
So the sidewalk on most of my frontage is in the road right of way. Technically, even where my lot extends to the center of the street, the right of way still takes precedence over my ownership. So maybe we're okay. I'm just thinking that while we're considering this subject, let's make sure we're covering all scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, would you agree with that? That maybe I was a little too quick to pull the trigger on that. If I have a sidewalk, which is in a part of my property which extends to the center of the road right of way still takes precedence. And if that road right of way includes the sidewalk, that would make our proposed text amendment still equally effective.
To be honest, I'm not sure I 100% follow.
Okay.
Richard,
Okay.
let me ask a question.
In a case where the road right of way, whether or not the property owner owns that parcel of land, is still the road right of way. And the township always has first dibs on the use of that property. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Then forget the fact that I said anything.
All right, are we,
Hey.
okay, that's fine. Now, we have to clear this up because, we're gonna, we want to make sure everybody's in agreement with what we want to do. So right now, we're looking at, if we go with recommendations to the trustees, we're looking at amending section 5, as we did tonight, section 5 and 5.96 and 5.97 as amended tonight. And section 6, as presented to us with the 20-foot triangle and presented to us by Harley and Richard, or by the zoning, zoning people, personnel. Is that what I'm hearing from everybody?
Feels like there's two routes we can go, right? We can send to the trustees as amended tonight, or we can continue, make sure the definitions are right, and send it
Right.
next meeting, right?
So that's why we can either continue it, so the only thing you have to do is, we have to, we have the choices right now we have is, everybody's agreement, okay with what we're doing tonight, then we either close the public hearing to make a motion down the road,
Right.
or we continue the public hearing. That's the two choices we have right now. Am I right, Jason? The two choices we have is either to continue the public hearing or to close it. And if we close it, we have 30 days whether to make a recommendation or not. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yep, you got it.
So that's where we're at right now. We can either close the public hearing or continue it.
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Gerald.
When you measure that triangle, are you measuring it along the road right of way or the center of the road? Because if you're down the center of the road, in those areas of new subdivisions, we have a 30-foot turnout, it's not gonna touch the lot at all.
Right, I think it's road right away.
Okay, if it's road right of way, I don't have a problem. But if you're going along the road, roadway or something like that, that's less than that, then it'll miss the lot altogether.
Correct. I think road right away is what we're looking at.
Okay,
For the 20-foot triangle.
I just wanted to make sure. I thought that's what it was, but I wanted to make sure.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
So the next meeting that we have is less than 30 days, so we could close it, and then at
The next meeting is May
should be the 10th,
10th,
right?
so it's less than 30 days.
Right, so we could close, and then make sure everything's right at the next meeting and send to the trustees, if
If we close the public hearing, we have 30 days to make a decision, which it looks like right now, our 30 days is already, it's gonna be passed, we could do it. We could
Yeah,
do
we
it.
could do it, and then send it at next
So
meeting.
it depends how comfortable you folks are with what we did tonight. So I guess I'm looking for a motion to either continue or close.
I would make a motion to close as amended tonight.
Okay, so I got a motion on the table, on the floor, to close the public hearing. That's it, just close the public hearing.
I'll second the motion.
Yes? So I got a motion on the floor to close the public hearing. I made a motion by Bailey and seconded by John. Any discussion? Richard?
Mr. Chairman, probably, I'm just thinking there is some information I want to share with the commission before you make any decisions tonight.
Okay.
I have decided to retire. I will be serving my last day as a member of the township on April 23rd. So all I want to do is make you aware of that and encourage you, if you want to see in writing what you are willing to forward to the trustees with your recommendations, it's perfectly all right to continue this. If you are convinced that you have given proper instruction and are willing to close this public hearing and forward this case to the Lake County Planning Commission, well, we already have done that. If you're willing to forward this case to the trustees, then by all means, move forward. But I just, before you do any further business tonight, I wanted you to be aware that I am heading into the sunset, guys.
Congratulations.
All right, congratulations, Richard. Okay. Any more discussion on the motion to close the public hearing? Okay, so if you vote yes, you want to close the public hearing.
Right.
If you vote no, then we don't won't close it, it'll continue. Am I correct, Jason, how that would go? We have a
Yep.
motion to close the public hearing. Okay. Hearing no discussion, roll call please on the motion to close the public hearing of 21 ZC01.
Okay, Daryl,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Bailey,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes.
You
Okay,
said
so we,
close
public,
as amended or close?
just close.
Closed, okay.
So we close the public hearing. We'll take care of that later. Okay, architectural review. We have a architectural review for a Get-Go Car Wash at 1201 Menor Avenue. And my stuff that you sent me, Rachel, and that I printed out from work, thank you, is at work, and other things that in a landfill right now. So, Harley or Richard, whoever it wants to go and explain to us the Get-Go Car Wash, please do so. Harley, I think you're up.
Did you want me to, Rich?
Sure, go ahead, Harley.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this is pretty simple and straightforward. You're going to wind up asking for a conditional approval. I do believe that the BZA approve a variance. So just go ahead. Get used to this.
So,
Please.
the pre-existing car wash, at the Get-Go location here near the railroad tracks on Menor Avenue. They're looking to reconfigure very minimally. They're going to be upgrading the vacuums and changing the parking angles of those vacuum, parking aisles. They're going to be adding a lane, a membership kiosk that senses a tag on the vehicle and lets them through. So there'll be 2 lanes, a paying lane and a membership lane. The umbrella portion, the covering portion for these kiosks are within the setback, within the permitted setback area, or with encroaching on the permitted setback area. And they do have a variance application in for the Board of Zoning Appeals to hear tomorrow. But as far as any additional changes, there are a few changes to the landscape. They're removing some, but replacing it elsewhere. I believe they're actually increasing their total percentage of landscape area by doing this. So it seems like a relatively simple architectural review from zoning staff standpoint.
Okay, thank you. Any addition, Richard, or is that suffice for you?
No, that's a good capsule of what this project is all about.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. The biggest issue is the fact that they're going to add structures that are otherwise prohibited in that front setback area between Menor Avenue and 50 feet away from the right of way. It's a good operation. The company has, in all respects, been a asset to the community. It's an already developed piece of property. They're making basically minor modifications that are in tune with today's way of doing business. So I believe the project deserves our fullest consideration, and dependent on what the Board of Zoning Appeals decides tomorrow evening on the variance requests, I don't see any reason why the zoning commission would not be supportive of the project conditioned upon the Board of Zoning Appeals agreeing that the structures so defined may be placed within that front setback area.
Okay, so basically what we're doing is if we do, agree to approve this, it'd be on condition of that they, Get-Go Car Wash get a approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals on their variance request tomorrow. If the Board of
Correct.
Zoning Appeals says no, then our recommendation, if we say yes to this thing, would be null and void. Could be dependent upon that. All right,
Cor-
any questions or discussions by any commission members? Okay, when I saw this, it seemed like a pretty straightforward situation. I guess and if no discussion at all, or any questions, hearing none, entertain a motion to approve architectural review with the stipulation that, on the condition that the Get-Go Car Wash get approval of their requested variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals. That would be how we would do that. So with that in mind, what we found out from the staff, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the plans as designed, with the contention that, the Board of Zoning Appeals approves the, changes as requested.
Okay, John made a motion to approve as submitted with the stipulation that it's a conditional approval based upon tomorrow's action by the Board of Zoning Appeals on their variance request.
Second.
And Daryl seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Okay, John,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Daryl,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes. Okay, it's approved. All right, number 7, new business. Harley, I think this is yours, because you're the one that started had us go with the architectural use of poultry. And see, right now, we are doing an amendment to section 31 in regards to roosters. So I'll let you make this present by staff. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, this is actually Rich's. He recognized that in all of our amendments and all of the craziness over chickens, we somehow forgot to re-include the portion where roosters are restricted. And so as soon as he saw that, he jumped on it, and this is why it's in here now. I believe he just saw it, I don't know, a week or so ago, Rich? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you just
Yeah,
saw
that's
this.
about right. Yeah.
So that's why it's in here. It's just a small change to re-add language that was previously in section 31, but through all of the amendments somehow was ultimately excluded.
Okay. So basically what we have to do then is, okay, if anybody has any more questions, what we'd have to do with this amendment is have a public hearing next month, if we want to do that. So I first of all, is there any questions to the staff regarding the amendment itself? Any questions? Things appears to be straightforward, but.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Daryl. Or John. Or Richard.
that was me up on the screen.
I know, you're not in front of me, so I don't know where I'm
I
looking.
didn't say a
Let me
word.
try to talk to my kids.
Sorry.
One of you.
Hey,
Sorry, Jason.
No worries at all. So pretty much 3103 on our zoning resolution mimics the Ohio Revised Code provision is 519.21. And I don't think we can put provision we want to put under section A. I mean, as a general rule, like it's just a general rule, there are exceptions. Townships can't regulate agricultural use. But section B of that Ohio Revised Code provision, has some exceptions to that. And for the most part, our zoning resolution mimics. So section B of that, Harley, is there any way you could pull up that Ohio Revised Code provision?
Yeah, which,
Yeah, it's 519.21. This might be easier to follow if you can guys see what I'm looking at.
okay, I'm going to present, give me 1 minute. Okay, this, Jason?
Yes, and then scroll down to B. Yeah, so that language there in B is pretty much the exact language we have in 3103, kind of like an introductory paragraph. But our authority to regulate poultry, so under B, we can regulate agriculture on lots 1 acre or less. And then also buildings and structures, setbacks, height and size. But paragraph 3 there, where it talks about dairy, animal, and poultry, it has to be on lots greater than 1 acre, but not greater than 5. And that's the exact language we have on paragraph B of our zoning resolution. I'm just wondering if I think if we want to use this exact language, we need to throw it under B. Because our authority to regulate on lots greater than 1 acre and less than 5 doesn't kick in until 35% of the lots are developed with at least one building, structure, or improvement.
I'm gonna bring up our resolution as well on the screen,
That might help too.
so then that way you can point to where, well, I could point to where you want it placed. Give me a moment. Alright. Okay, so under this,
Yeah,
okay, so
I mean, and I would say, I don't know how old this section of our resolution is, and there might have been changes in the Ohio Revised Code. But actually, if you want to scroll back up to paragraph A. So right now we have it on parcels less than 1/2 acre and I don't know if this was a conscious choice, but under the Ohio Revised Code, we can do it on up to 1 acre or less. We could have that read. And then paragraph B, though, we only have that authority on lots greater than 1 acre, but not greater than 5. So I think we would need, no matter what we do, I think we need to update B there. And then I think if we put this same exact line, but we put it under B1, then I think it fits perfectly. But like I said, our authority to regulate dairy and poultry and animal husbandry doesn't kick in until the language applies that we see in B right there. If we wanted to put it under A, we'd have to say on a lot less than 1 acre.
So I think what Rich is doing is instead of placing this under item A or within this paragraph, what he's doing is he's creating a new A with this language. This would be B, this would be C.
Right, but so with that first language, that 3103, that kind of introductory paragraph,
Yes,
in that situation, like in a platted subdivision or 15 or more lots,
yes.
we only have the authority to regulate agriculture on lots 1 acre or less. And then that authority gets extended slightly when the conditions under B come in. when you have at least 35% of the lots developed.
What? I'm not following that, Jason. I don't read that way.
Well, we're reading our zoning resolution, but
Yeah.
under the Ohio Revised Code, where we're getting our power to do this, under the conditions that are in A there, are you pulling back up the Ohio
Yeah.
Revised Code?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that introductory paragraph mirrors paragraph B in this Ohio Revised Code section. Any platted subdivision or any area consisting of 15 or more lots. And our authority, when that's in play, is to only regulate agriculture on lots 1 acre or less.
Go to C. When did they change that?
Most recently in 2016. If you go to B3, Harley,
The methane,
B3.
oh, okay, I'm at C. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so B3 is essentially the exact language we have in section 3103B. Which is why I'm thinking if we wanted to apply to, has any, can't have a roosters on 5 acres or less, it has to be under B in our zoning resolution.
Well, please correct me if I'm wrong in this, but what I feel like this says is that basically if you've got, this is less, how do I say this? Hold on. B is saying that there are less strict requirements, from what I'm reading, there are less strict requirements in order for us to be able to jump in and start regulating agriculture if they are smaller parcels. So on lots 1 acre or less, we have the authority to regulate with less requirements for us to meet in order to jump in and start regulating, is the way that I'm looking at this. And I may be wrong, but basically they're saying, okay, as long as you got 15 lots, like go ahead and start regulating any agriculture on an acre or less. And then down here it's saying, but in this situation, when you've got larger parcels, you need to meet these requirements in order for township to start jumping in. So I feel like either way, we're sort of in the right in this, only because basically 99.9% of all of Painesville Township falls under these rules. And I could be wrong. That has happened. But
Well. You and I are looking at it the same way, Harley. Jason, I'm having trouble with this one, buddy. I am pretty sure what we are proposing here is totally within the guidelines of Ohio Revised Code that we're looking at on the screen. I'm not seeing the problem, but
So if we,
that's
I'm sorry,
okay. That's okay. The commission doesn't have to do anything tonight. I would say everybody take a step back, re-look at things, and then be prepared to deal with this again next month. You know, I just don't see where we are preempted or prohibited from throwing this particular amendment in where we're suggesting it at this moment. Um, I'm not seeing it on the screen anywhere.
so if
That's
you
all I
just
can say.
scroll up to B1, Harley.
yes, sir.
So like I said, our zoning resolution 3103 mimics this language in B right here. And we're trying to put in there that we say no roosters on any parcel of land 5 acres or less. So let's say somebody has 3 acres of land and they want a rooster. We're telling them they can't. Well, B1 is telling us we can only regulate it in that instance on acres of 1 or less.
Oh, so
Well,
are you
I'm saying they conflict.
are you saying that we are limiting ourselves to just 1 acre or less if we place it under the just 3103? We're, is that what
Under,
you're,
if we put it right under, if we make it a new paragraph A for 3103, then we need to change that language to 1 acre or less because that's all we have the authority under that provision.
okay, that
It's
actually
not
makes
until
more
you get
sense.
into B3 where you get into the one greater than 1 acre but less than 5, which is the exact language we use in 3103B.
Okay, I'm
Oh
understanding
my
what you're
God.
saying. So basically, someone could argue that it's under 3103, which is this, which limits us to regulating 1 acre lots. And if we wanted to prohibit them from larger lots, they would have to be under B, because that is the language in ORC that gives us the authority to regulate parcels larger than an acre. Is that, does that,
Correct.
okay, I get that. Does that make
Correct.
sense?
Yeah, but what section is this? 519 what?
519.
21.
51921. Just
Hmm.
because some of the language in our zoning resolution mimics the introduction to 51921, what 51921 does is give us regulatory authority over agricultural uses on every parcel of property
Not,
included in a subdivision as
No.
part of a subdivision of 15 lots or more, um,
no.
created under 71105, 71109, 71110 of the Ohio Revised Code, up to 5 acres. Not up to more than 5 acres. And that's important to know. A 5 acre parcel we can regulate. A 5.01 acre parcel we can't regulate. Okay, you get paid the big bucks to advise us. I've had my say. Uh, this is going to cease to be my fight um, pretty soon. So I'm going to shut my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I could do, Harley and Rich, I can shoot you guys something. Um, I'll shoot you an email or something with a better explanation. Maybe I'm not explaining myself clearly, but essentially that 519.21 A of that provision says, as a general rule, we can't regulate agricultural use, and then B carves out some exceptions to that.
Well, okay.
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 So it's a matter of knowing where to place it correctly in order for it to be most effective, is what we're looking at. All right, so
Correct.
is the zoning commission okay to set this for public hearing with the understanding that there will be an amendment somewhere in there?
Oh no, I wouldn't do that.
No?
What I, what I would like to do, if it's okay with the commissioner members, since we have a new we have a new business amendment to section 31. We have our legal has asked for some revisions, what it is. I don't know if we can really make a decision to go to even do a public hearing yet, because we don't know what we're really looking at public hearing wise. I mean, what we're actually amending. I don't know, we could just table this new business and wait till, get more clarification from legal. And so legal and staff can work out what they want to do as part of the amendment to section 31 as it pertains to roosters. And we'll just wait for them and deal with this in the May 10th meeting. So, Jason, we don't need a motion for continuing this, we'll just, do I have to continue it, or do we have to have a motion for that?
No, table the matter till the next meeting. It's a new business matter that the commission decided to
Table.
table instead of continuing further discussion on,
So we have to have
right?
a motion on that, or not?
No, it'll just become old business at the next meeting.
So we'll just table then under new business amendment to section 31. We'll table it to the May 10th meeting, okay? So we got a new business now, again, and it says amendment to section 7. That's all I have in the agenda.
Oh, okay. So here's the deal on that. We we had some recent occasion to examine our Section 7 non-conforming uses. I did a little digging and some research. Part of our problem is the way we have constructed some of our language in Section 7 doesn't give us the leeway that I think uh, the state of Ohio intended for us to have. But then again, maybe the politicians did not intend to give us any leeway. But I have done some research. I haven't put anything into words yet. Before my final day, I will pass a recommended item for consideration by the zoning commission onto Harley, along with yet another amendment to section 6. So that's my commitment to you guys as a going away gift. I'm going to leave a little trail of some proposed text amendments behind, and you can do with them as you see fit.
Okay, so since we have really nothing in front of us for section 7, amendment-wise, it's really, I think, Jason, it's really new business. We really haven't get anything to review or talk about. So basically, it'll just be under new business next meeting. I mean,
Yeah, it'll move under old business.
it'll be under new, but they'll just table it.
Well, I guess no, I'd still put it under new business.
Yeah, 'cause we haven't
'Cause
talked about it yet. We haven't even.
we're not sure what the business is yet.
Exactly,
know
so
what it is.
what we'll do then, we'll just keep the amendment to section 7 under new business for next meeting. It was like basically, introduced to us as read, but nothing really for us to review. And to really just go with old business like the previous one, section 31. Section 31 will be under new old business next meeting, but this section 7, when we get it, will be under new business next meeting. Okay? All right. Richard, I know this is yours. Old business, rewrite sign section.
Okay, so anyhow, the last thing I sent you was revisions that Jason and I have gone back and forth about. I believe I have incorporated all of the changes Jason recommended, and so the last version, draft 8, is what is before us tonight. Now, just between us folks, let me say that at the end of the section, the charts and calculations for sign sizes and letter height and all that kind of stuff, I'm kind of comfortable with those, but I am not going to be part of the picture going forward. So, and I had a chance to talk to Harley today. Harley has not understood what is happening in order to make herself totally aware of all the proposed changes in this section as of the moment. And I'm going to recommend that if the commission would like to discuss anything that they have already made note of tonight, it would be good so that Harley and even I can make some notes. And but the end result is I would like the commission to table further discussion outside of anything that should appropriately come up tonight until the next meeting, and allow Harley a chance to dive into this text and understand it, and be able to interpolate how she would go about enforcing this if this were to be enacted as it is. So with that, I'm going to be quiet again.
Well, thanks, Richard. I know I printed it out and I glanced at it personally, and I'm not really ready tonight to even make a comment on what you sent us. How's that?
Yeah, I agree.
For me, my personal opinion is that I feel more comfortable really looking at it, have more time to look at it, digest it, make some more comments on it from what you and Jason have been going back and forth with. I appreciate the time that you and Jason did to give us draft number 8. And both of you, thank you for your due diligence on this. But if any of the other commission members has any questions to give to Richard and or Jason, who helped develop this draft 8, the floor is yours right now. Okay, since I heard none, no questions, we'll just table this section, draft 8, and we will table it to the next meeting on May 10th. And, okay, thank you. Now we come to number 9, was address the disposition of any closed public hearing. We have closed the public hearing for site triangles. And also with section number, section 6 and section 5. Basically what we did was, we talked about, if we go forward with this to the trustees, we do it as, section 5 as amended tonight at the public hearing. And section 6 as presented to us by staff using the 20-foot triangle, site triangle from the right of way. So I think those are the 2 items that would have to go into a motion to a recommendation to the trustees if the board so desires.
Ted, it might be important to include in the motion, when you say section 5 as amended, that was amended by one process. Section 6 was amended by a different process, I believe. Harley, now maybe Jason, you're going to have to get involved in this. Technically, both sections, section 5 and section 6, were subject to choices by the zoning commission in response to the planning commission and in response to the zoning staff. So would it be appropriate to say case 11 or 21 ZC01 as amended by the zoning commission is being recommended one way or another to the trustees?
No, because I think the as amended is only going to apply when it's amended with what we did tonight. So section 5, if we were going to adopt that, we made those amendments tonight. So that text is ultimately going to look different than what was submitted to the board tonight. Whereas section 6, at least as far as I remember, we didn't make any amendments tonight. Um, so I mean, you could go as far
Well,
as to say, approve section 6, draft 2. Essentially, we just need to make sure we're being clear what is being submitted to the trustees for their consideration.
Okay, so.
the,
Correct me if
but
I'm
what
wrong.
was presented as far as section 6 tonight were two versions of section 6. One version was as the planning commission recommended it. The second version was as Harley interpreted the planning commission's recommendation and altered on her own behalf. And I believe the zoning commission has chosen to recommend to the trustees Harley's version.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
know,
and we talked about that earlier, specifying between which one.
yeah,
Yeah, so tonight the zoning commission has accepted changes or made modifications on their own to both of these sections. I believe. Uh, Ted, what do you think?
well, I know that we have section 5, excuse me, we amended section 5 text tonight. We changed we changed 5.96 to 5.97, we amended tonight. So that section 5 would be in the recommendation, if that's what we want to do, we recommended as amended at the public hearing today. And section 6, yes, there was two versions presented, but the commission appeared to approve section 6 with a 20-foot site triangle from the right-of-way as presented by staff. That's the way I would probably want to word that. If the commission is agreeable to that. So that's what I looked at. It'd be it'd be a motion for motions to recommend to the trustees, the section 5 as amended at the public hearing tonight, and section 6 as presented to the commission by staff with the recommendation of the 20-foot site triangle from the right-of-way. That's one of the concerns Daryl had.
Along the front,
Yes, along the right-of-way, yes.
along the right of way.
So those two
Confused if you say.
pieces will have to be in the motion for the recommendation to the trustees, if that's what we want to do.
To be clear, we don't have to do it tonight. We can do it at the next meeting.
We could wait till May 10th,
If we want.
but we'd have to make a decision on May 10th,
Right.
one way or the other. But if everybody's comfortable with the 20-foot, unless you don't know if there's confusion in what you really want to do, then yes, we would continue to close. If you're pretty much satisfied with the way the recommendation of the trustees, the way we amended section 5 tonight, and the information that was presented to us from staff, that section 6 is, we would go with the staff recommendation of a 20-foot site triangle along the right-of-way.
Yep, and I'm satisfied with how it is. I just don't know that we do have the option, if we wanted to take a look at it before we take a look at the section 5 definition changes before we forward it. I'm satisfied either way. I think we read them out loud. We know what they're going to say. We're good. We have that option there if we want to use it.
So, you know, it would happen, we'd go with the recommendation to the trustees, and if it was voted down, we still would have, you know, Jason, if we make a motion to recommend to the trustees, and we vote, and let's say, if we do nothing right now, as far as, if we, let's say, somebody makes a motion, and we don't have a second, okay? That means there's lack of action, and then we still have to, we're under the gun, still have to do something on the May 10th meeting. If we have a motion to approve as amended tonight, and as recommended by staff, and we have that motion fail, you know, recommended approval, but it doesn't pass, then are we back to square one with a public hearing, or where are we at?
No, no. If you make a decision that says you're not recommending approval, then it goes to the trustees with your recommendation not to approve.
Okay. Gotcha. So we're under the situation, we're in a 30-day thing to make a recommendation to the trustees, whether we approve section 5 amended and the 20-foot triangle as presented by staff tonight along the roadway right away, or we say no. We got 30 days to say yes or no on that recommendation. To ship it to, and send it to the trustees for their decision. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, essentially, when it goes to the trustees, there's three. You guys can recommend approval, you can recommend denial, or you can recommend approval with modifications. But those are the three choices. No matter what happens here, you know, we have 30 days to make that decision, so we could wait until the next meeting. But it's going to the trustees for their consideration.
Correct.
Whether, you know, all you guys are voting on is what your recommendation to the trustees will be.
And if we don't make a motion and vote on it tonight, we got to do it on May 10th.
Yeah,
That's where we're at.
yeah. I mean, unless, I guess, you know, you could call a special meeting on May 11th or so, but, you know, you have 30 days to do it. You know, once we closed it tonight, the clock starts ticking.
Well, we had a motion and it passed to close it, so we closed it, so the clock's ticking.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, I'm not, so, what we closed it on was amending section 5 as talked about, as amended tonight, and section 6 as presented by staff, which is a 20-foot triangle, site triangle, measured along the roadway right of way.
So I feel like I derailed this. I was just saying that there's an option there. So what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do now is I'm gonna make a motion to send 21 ZCO1 to the commissioners, section 5 as amended tonight, and section 6 with the 20-foot triangle.
As presented by staff
Presented
along
by
the right of way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I got a second. To recommendation to, what we're voting on, we're recommending to the trustees on case 21 ZC01 that we we're recommending to them at section 5 as amended tonight and section 6 as presented by staff, 20-foot site triangle measured along the roadway right of way. That's what we're voting on as a recommendation to the trustees. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Amy,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Bailey, Daryl,
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes. Okay. That's recommended to the trustees. Items being held for public hearing, there is none. Zoning inspector's report. Richard, your last one to us.
Hey guys, I already bust my bubble, you know. Um, I don't have anything else to say. I just have a question. Who made the last motion and who seconded it?
The
So
motion
when
was
I
made
get
by-
together with Rachel in the morning to uh, get this prepared to forward to the trustees, I have the accurate information here.
Bailey made the motion and Daryl seconded it right away.
Okay. Okay. Daryl was so quick, I didn't get that.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
He was,
Okay.
I think when Bailey said, I make a motion, Daryl said yes.
I was waiting.
Okay. Okay. So listen, instead of a zoning inspector's report, let me just share with you. You know, I've been with the township for 11 years. Um, we have done a lot of stuff in the zoning commission. I have truly enjoyed not just you guys, but even most of the past people who served on the zoning commission, with the possible exception of maybe one person who really I had a difficult time seeing eye to eye with. But you know, uh, I feel very blessed that I've been able to interact and be a part of something like a township, a community, you know, growing and moving into new times and the future times. And what a great ride it is when you can do that with really people who you admire and respect. And that's what I want you all to realize, that I truly admire and respect you guys. It doesn't matter if we get into controversy and I have a different opinion. You are such great people. That's what I'm going to miss most about this job uh, going forward. It's the people that I've been associated with for the last 11 years. Very frankly, some of the routine daily stuff of the job has become very boring. I enjoy challenges, I enjoy debate, and that's why we can get into some heated discussions sometimes because I enjoy that. It's part of who I am and part of who I've always been. But thank you so much for being a part of what I've been able to do for the township. It's a together thing. It's a team thing to move a locality, a local jurisdiction forward, and it's truly wondrous where this township has come since I've been a part of it. Not because of me, but I like to think that I've been at least a small part of that. It's everybody combined in the way we work together. It comes from good leadership and good people. So thank you all, and it's been a real pleasure. I'm sure I'm going to miss this quite a bit, um, but I am truly at this point in time looking forward to taking care of the rest of my life. There are family and loved ones and other responsibilities I have, and I've got to cut down on responsibilities and learn how to enjoy a few things here and there, and that's what I'm doing. So God bless you all.
Thank you, Richard, very
Thank you.
much for
Likewise.
everything. I appreciate your help for me. And I've been on this my 6th year on the commission, so you've been very helpful to me, especially now that as I was the chair. So I appreciate everything you've done for me, and thank you.
You're
I'd also
welcome,
add
sir.
that, I've enjoyed working with you. I don't think there's been too many times that we disagreed, but you've everything's gone really smooth since you came on board. And other times we had more arguments. It seems like so. I've seen a lot of people come and go on this board, and I think that these last years, the 11 years that you've been here, doesn't seem like 11. And I guess if you're still going to live here, you're not too far away that we could drag you down here if we need you. So.
Oh yeah, I really don't want to be a stranger. I'm going to be around, but I have to give my focus to other aspects of my life. You know.
Yeah, we appreciate you having your service for as many years as you were able to give them to us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you, Rich. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you let me call you whenever to ask you random zoning questions. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So don't think I won't still stalk you occasionally.
Amy, you can give me a call anytime. I'm always happy to speak with you.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thanks, Richard. Congratulations. Enjoy yourself.
Thanks, Bailey.
Harley, anything from your end of the zoning inspector's report?
No, I cannot follow that, Mr. Chairman.
That's a tough act to follow, isn't it?
No, I absolutely adore that man.
All right, any other further business before the commission? Let everybody yell at once. Hearing none, adjournment at 7:59, 8 o'clock. And the next meeting will be Monday, May 10th, 2021. And Amy, I will be here.
Excellent.
I'm planning on it. Lord willing.
Okay.
Yes. I am, no game, I'm done.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.